Hello, my name is Tom Bryer. I'm a member of the faculty in the Department of Public Administration at the University of Central Florida. I'm here partially as a result of a grant received from the U.S. Elections Assistance Commission. The purpose of the grant is to recruit and train college poll workers. However, it's important to note that participation in the elections process is only one form of civic participation, one form of civic engagement. What we're doing here today is focusing on other forms and different strategies for employing civic skills in order to affect some kind of positive change in our communities. Joining me here is Bob Graham. Senator Graham is a former member of the Florida legislature, a two-term governor of the state of Florida, and three-term member of the United States Senate. He is now, well, I'll let him just say a bit more about what he's doing now post-retirement from the Senate, but he has established the Bob Graham Center for Public Service at the University of Florida out in Gainesville. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that. But the reason that we're here with Bob Graham today is because he is the author of a recent book, America, the Owner's Manual, Making Government Work for You. It's a 2010 publication, so right out, hot off the presses. What can you tell us about this book? Why have you written it?
I wrote the book because my concern of the decline in citizenship in America, beginning about 45 years ago, around Watergate, Vietnam War, the traditions of emphasis on citizenship in our schools and other institutions began to decline. That was accelerated in the latter part of the last century with the advent of high-stake tests. In Florida, the FCAT test, which generally, in fact almost universally, do not cover any of the social sciences, history, economics, geography, or civics. And the rule of thumb is that if a course is not tested, it's not taught. And so today, a high school graduate in Florida will generally complete their education with one semester of civics. And that one semester is what I call spectator civics. It teaches you to watch the game of democracy, but not play the game of democracy. And democracy was never intended to be a spectator sport. So the purpose of this book is to give to general audience of Americans, but particularly to college students, a basic handbook of if you want to be an effective participating citizen, how do you do it?
Okay. Well, you say the purpose of the book then is to help individuals or young people in particular who want to be involved, give them the tools that they need to be successful at that. What about the individuals, the young people who are a little skeptical, who maybe don't think they can make a difference based upon what they see in the media or through their interaction with family or friends? Does this book communicate to that audience at all? Yes,
that's even an earlier objective of the book, and that is to overcome this attitude that you can't fight City Hall, that just if the government, whatever that is, has decided something, just sit back passively because there's nothing you can do about it. The book contains a series of case studies, one for each chapter and then the prologue, about citizens who said, we are not going to just take it. We are going to organize ourselves, be an effective group or an effective individual to accomplish an important goal. The prologue is a university group. Georgetown University had a long animosity with the community of Georgetown, which is part of the District of Columbia. It had gotten so bad that the local advisory group, which has an influential role in local government in the District of Columbia, was about to impose some sharp parking restriction on students' cars and limit the number of students who could be in an apartment or a rented house. The students, after first feeling that their cause was lost, decided, hell no. And they effectively organized a political party. They got the students at Georgetown who had been registering in their home states, California, New York, Florida, to all re-register to be voters in the District of Columbia. They selected two very attractive undergraduates to be their candidates, and they organized a campaign and elected those two students to the Neighborhood Advisory Council. And in a matter of 3 or 4 years, the council had so changed its position that it passed a Students' Bill of Rights outlining, among other things, that there would be no more discriminatory ordinances as it related to university students in Georgetown. Quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's one of several stories that you tell in the book. The founding of Mothers Against Drunk Driving is another one that's a particularly powerful story, I think.
And one that a lot of Floridians are aware of. South Beach, which has become a major international tourist destination, was about to be bulldozed. In fact, it was because of Disney. The tourist leadership in Miami Beach felt they couldn't compete. They had to replicate a Disney World on South Beach. And they were very close to doing it until this one lady by the name of Barbara Capitman came forth and said, no, the future of South Beach is in preserving these old Art Deco buildings and the romance that they represented, and that will regenerate South Beach as a major tourist destination. It took her better part of 15 years to fully accomplish her objective. But
15 years.
She was tenacious, and she got the first 20th century National Historic District designated as being South Beach. She finally got the local government, which had been very resistant to this idea of preserving South Beach, to come along. And now it is exactly as Barbara had said 30 years ago, one of the world's great international tourist destinations.
That's a good point that you bring up, that it took 15 years for her to accomplish the goals that she had.
Unfortunately, she actually passed away 2 or 3 years before the city of Miami Beach adopted the set of ordinances that would be required to enforce the National Historic District designation.
Oh, in that case, in the case of the Georgetown students, they had to overcome some challenges to accomplish their purpose as well, not only winning office, but mounting a campaign and being seen as legitimate in that campaign process. I pulled out a quote from your book that I think highlights the challenges that need to be overcome in active citizenship. And you state, active citizenship is flesh and blood, drama and comedy, triumph and tragedy, pleasure and pain. So with that, why would we want to participate if it's all of these things and potential hardship as well as triumph?
Why would you be a human being if you didn't want to engage in all those kinds of activities? That's what makes life interesting. The conclusion of the introduction of the book is that famous quote by Theodore Roosevelt about the man in the arena, that the applause does not go to those cold and distant souls who know neither victory nor defeat. It belongs to the person who, if they are successful, know the enthusiasms of a great victory. If they are unsuccessful, at least they had the satisfaction that they tried to make a difference.